I want to make mention of a favorite subject matter that I've raised many times on this floor, the subject of transnational crimes. And the most dangerous criminal of all in this world, the transnational criminal. And Papua New Guinea is their best destination, or one of their best destinations. Why? They can come into this country so easily, make themselves millionaires, billionaires even, and walk away, knowing that they will never be caught or prosecuted. The United Nations Convention on Transnational Crimes 2001 was, PNG became a party to that in 2007. That means we agreed that there is such a thing as transnational crimes, crimes that cross borders, very serious crimes, crimes that basically steal from an entire nation, steal from the future of a people, very heinous crimes. We agreed to this. But as is often the case where we agree to such conventions, we don't often put in place the mechanics to deal with these matters, to ensure that we follow through. Efforts have been made. For instance, there was the creation of the Transnational Crimes Organized Unit at Bomana. I was part of that effort. Well, that organization has been defunded. Interestingly, since 2011, it doesn't function anymore. And there are many other such efforts that were undertaken, but to date, those organizations don't function. They're not protecting this economy, the interests of Papua New Guineans, current and future. So, looking back at that, what we have to do, taking something from this report that I can see immediately, is that we must look at what has happened and put in place laws so that it doesn't happen again. And not only laws, but put in place mechanisms so we empower those mechanisms so that they can aggressively and assertively protect the interests of this country 24/7, 365, as long as we're an independent country. We have become the favorite destination of economic hitmen, a term stated by a former economist, come authored by the name of John Perkins. This has become famous worldwide because it talks about this type of insidious character who walks in with a briefcase and very clever ideas and then walks out with millions of kina that belong to a developing nation like Papua New Guinea. And if that continues to happen, it sends signals to the whole world that this can happen. And soon enough, like sharks drawn by blood in the water, they are zooming into Papua New Guinea. Mr. Speaker, I'll tell you what happened here. Actually, this is not anything serious in comparison to what has happened, continues to happen right now as you and I sit here. We don't even know what's really going on in this country. There are some even more insidious characters than those that have been named in here, and they live here and they thrive here. And they are plundering our natural resources at will and whim. They're even developing very clever laws that they present and walk through here. And without lifting a finger, they have actually recolonized our country, Mr. Speaker. We think we are independent and we wave this Papua New Guinea flag on the 16th of September every year and proclaiming that we are independent. We are not independent. These insidious characters have recolonized this country and we are not aware of it. We only get excited when something like this happens. Then we have an inquiry or we have newspaper articles that are written about it, television, radio presentations, and we all get excited and we say, what's going on? Why something here? Why no come up? But some very dangerous characters, organizations and individuals live here, thrive here. And they've compromised many of our government organs. They own them. They've converted these government organs to serve their interests. They've made them mercenary organizations who no longer serve you and I, Mr. Speaker. And if we don't do anything about it, it'll only get worse. And all our dreams and hopes and aspirations that we had on the 16th of September 1975 will just fizzle out and evaporate into nothing. We will become a mafia country run by criminal organizations of all types. Mr. Speaker, I would like to suggest from this report that there must be an effort, and I want to commend the government for putting together ICAC. It's good to see that ICAC is now going to be run managed and funded, given the capacity to investigate such crimes. But let me say that ICAC's mandate is actually not to investigate transnational crimes. So we must be very mindful of this. Who's going to investigate transnational crimes? Is it ICAC? That's not their mandate, really, if you think about it. So what are we going to do about it? Do we go and amend the law so that ICAC can investigate transnational crimes? That mandate lies with two organizations, actually, the police and customs. But they hardly have the capacity to do this. And what little capacity that they had, they tried to develop, has been dismantled, cleverly and insidiously. So we must rebuild that function within police and customs. We must rebuild the Transnational Crimes Investigation Unit and fund it. Make it a very relevant organization. The purpose of why that organization was created was to guard against these type of characters. You need very high-level investigators and specialists to investigate this type of high-level, sophisticated crimes. They must be people who are not only well-trained but well-remunerated, so that they can pursue their responsibilities without fear or favor. And in this instance, Mr. Speaker, we must put together a very credible team, just as we have very clever, insidious transnational criminals, economic hitmen and what have you, that come into this country and carry out their schemes and scams. There are also people available in this world who know how to detect them, catch them, investigate them, prosecute them. If need be, let's reach out to such people and bring them in so that we can form the necessary means by which we can have the persons named, individuals named in these reports attended to, dealt with. And if they've committed crimes, charged and prosecuted. If they've breached the leadership code, referred to the appropriate organizations to deal with that. If they've breached the Public Service Management Act and the Financial Management Act, then necessary pecuniary action taken against them as well. I note, for instance, the number of public servants that are named in here. And these public servants also knew what they were doing. They must be dealt with so that our people can get the justice that they have been yearning for, that they deserve. Significant monies have been lost. 3 billion, it said, or 900 million. Well, how are we going to recover this? We can recover this. We have entered into various conventions and treaties with countries, double tax treaties, for instance. We are a signatory to Interpol. We have access to the United Nations Office of Drugs and Crime. We can actually go about recovering the funds that we have lost, that have been stolen, and we can't just say we can't do it, but we must do it, Mr. Speaker. And then there must be an effort made to identify what laws have been breached so that we can put in place new laws, control measures, so that this does not happen again. And Mr. Speaker, we must ban those individuals, not for 5 years or 10 years. Why 5 years or 10 years? Ban them for life. Blacklist them so they're never allowed to come back into this country again or do business in this country.